Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of the QubicaAMF Tech Tip Podcast. This is a weekly podcast where we take you on a journey through the fascinating world of bowling technology and beyond. As always, I'm your host, Orly, and today we have a special guest on. We have Elmer. Sorry, Elmer, I keep wanting to forget your name. I don't know why. Elmer Hernandez. Elmer, welcome to the show.
Hey guys, how you doing?
Oh, Elmer, first off, I was just going to ask, since you are new to the show, can you let everyone know, your title with the company and what you do with the net title?
Yep, I'm a technical support representative, so I take calls from all of you guys, and I troubleshoot and help you guys out whenever, there's an issue with your stuff.
And speaking of troubleshooting, that's kind of what we're going to talk about today, or I'm going to let you talk about today. You were going to go over some common lane error codes and, let everyone know what they mean and what steps they can do to troubleshoot those, correct?
Yep, that's what we're going to be going over. I mean, we get a lot of calls about people who don't know what they mean, so hopefully this clears up some of that confusion.
Yeah, go ahead and let us know what those error codes are and how they can take care of those.
Okay, so one of the most common ones that we get a lot of calls about is an error 199, so 199. Usually this flashes when the lane is booting up, and most of these are going to flash when the lane is booting up. But that one in particular is about the bowler console. Now, most of our customers have the Super Touch, which is just that rectangular touch screen at the front of the lane there. So that's usually referring to either the left or the right Super Touch, and that means the lane is having an issue detecting them. So what I would recommend doing is checking all your connections, trying to do a reinitialize to the lane, and if that doesn't work, the easiest way to test is just to swap it over to a different lane, and that'll tell you if the problem is with the unit or if the problem stays on the lane. It's something either the cable or maybe the hub to check out. So that's going to be one of the most simple and easiest to diagnose. Now let me move on to error 164, so 164. So there's a few ways you can get this one. So sometimes it's 160, but anything 160 through 164 usually means that the hub can't communicate with the rest of your system. So hub is going to be that rectangular silver box, usually has a little sticker that has a label that says 4HD or 5HD hub on it. So make sure to look in the back. An easy way to tell is if you look at the N1 network port on the top, it'll have a Ethernet cable plugged in, and it should run to like a blue Netgear switch is what we usually give you guys. But if you ever run into any of those errors, 160 through 164, that's what I'd usually recommend starting with. It's just a basic communication error. And most of the time, if the hub is damaged or something's wrong, just replacing it usually clears it up. So that's another pretty simple one.
Okay, and Elmer, real quick, before you go on to the next, let's say, because, we do have some new customers that are just opening up, and they might be hearing this show and just saying, where am I even going to see this code? Where's this code going to pop up? Can you briefly just let them know where they will see this?
Of course. So it's going to pop up on those overhead monitors. So like if you're at the front of the lane by the consoles, usually where the score is displayed, you'll see like a bunch of like code looking like text and stuff, and it'll tell you when it's booting up error, whatever it says. And you can also see it at the actual computers in Conqueror. If you're on the all lane screen, if you aren't actively watching it and then you're rebooting a lane pair, it'll show you the actual error, like when you click on the lane or when you're just looking at the screen there after it's done trying to boot.
All right, thanks for that.
Yep. Now moving on, we're going to go to another pretty easy one, error 204 and 203. Those are for our customers who aren't on Edge String or any of our new USB-C Edge String. That's going to be a camera failure or a camera check failure. So you want to check your camera board and your connections to the actual camera. Make sure those are all tight and mounted. And usually for that kind of stuff, I always recommend switching out the board and switching out the camera. I mean, it could be one or the other, or just the wiring. So that's where I get started with that one. Not too complicated, but just letting you guys know, for every single error I'm talking about, make sure you guys shut off the power. We want to keep you guys safe, make sure nothing gets shocked, you guys aren't having any live electricity running, and that'll also help save your components because you're not supposed to swap electronics with live current. So just something to keep in mind. Other than that, there's going to be a few more. There is a general error 200. Now, I save this one for last because it is going to be the biggest deal and biggest hassle to take care of out of all the other ones we have. And I think this will be the last one I'm going over. There's one more I'll touch on briefly after this, but error 200 is our general communication error, which means not one single component can be detected by the system as to what is causing it to not boot all the way. So for those who are familiar, you have your hub, your camera board, your interface, all the lane components generally. And it's basically just a good idea to get started by going one by one and checking all your wiring from the camera board to your interface, from your interface to your hub, and just double checking, making sure everything's secure, everything's tight. And if you reboot it and it's still giving you the same error, that's when I would go ahead and one by one start swapping components and trying to figure out what component might be failing or causing an issue with that. So that one is something I still would recommend getting some advice on. So don't be afraid to call us still, because that's the one that usually customers need the most help with. So other than that, we got one more here on the list, and that's going to be an error 300. So for our customers with hyperbowling, you guys have the hyper bumpers and all that, and that means you guys have a fancy hyper server. That's usually found in the back, same as all the other lane components, but there's usually one per lane. And if the lane gives you that error, then that usually means that it can't detect it, or it needs some files or it needs to be rebooted. So I would always try a reinitialize or an upload if you see that, and that usually clears it out. If not, that means you're going to have to go digging back there and maybe swapping it out or just double checking those connections. But I think that's all I got for today. Those are
Okay.
all the common error codes. And if you guys never need any help with it or have any more questions, just give us a call here in tech support.
And you want to give that number out, Elmer?
Yep, that's going to be 1-866 460-7263, and we're here at extension 3. So
Perfect. Yeah, no, I think this is a great topic because I know when I was in a center, the first time I saw, being someone new to a center, when I saw those numbers coming across the monitors, I was like, oh no, what did I do? Like, it's kind of could be a little scary, you know, all of a sudden you have all these numbers popping up on your screen. So now with letting them know what this means, I think this is going to help a lot of people out.
yep, I agree, and I'm just glad to be on the show, help some people out.
Yeah, I appreciate Elmer. So again, folks, if you are new to the show, make sure you're going back and listen to past shows. There's so much great information out there. We've had a lot of great guests on, and we'll continue to bring on guests weekly here to help you guys out and make things a little easier. So Elmer, again, thank you. I appreciate it. And until next time, we will talk to everyone soon.
All right, have a good one, guys.